Thousands of local jobs right at your fingertips at KELOLAND Employment. Search, research area employers, even create job email alerts. Your job search just got easier with KELOLAND Employment at KELOLAND.com.
Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem now says COVID-19 may not hit its peak in the state until July or even August. Now that news comes as the state confirms 129 cases, including more than 50 people in the Sioux Falls area.
We've also learned that a third-grade teacher is the second South Dakotan to die of the virus. Family members tell us 51-year-old Mary Hofer had no underlying health concerns. She taught in the Huron area. Here's a look at the rest of the latest numbers. More than 3,900 tests have come back negative, and 51 people have recovered. That means they haven't had symptoms or a fever in more than 72 hours. Updated numbers are expected later today. The city of Sioux Falls is collecting data from cities across the country to help flatten the curve in the fight against COVID-19. Sioux Falls Public Health Director Jill Franken listed Des Moines, Omaha, and even Tallahassee, Florida as peer communities when it comes to coronavirus.
As of March 30th, Sioux Falls, including all of Minnehaha and Lincoln counties, has about 13 cases per 100,000 people, while Tallahassee is at just 6. The information the city is gathering extends well beyond the first confirmed case of COVID-19.
The dates when they implemented certain mitigation efforts, such as like emergency declarations, when they did school closures, public gathering size limitations, curfews, stay-at-home orders, and other mitigation efforts.
Franken says curfew is the biggest difference between Sioux Falls and Tallahassee. Rapid City Mayor Steve Allender says with many businesses closed, he's noticing people gathering outdoors. The city has not closed parks yet, but Mayor Allender says they're not opposed to it.
If the government does its part and the community does its part, we can flatten this curve. We can slow down the peak infection date.
Allender once again urges you to remember social distancing guidelines.
In Sioux Falls, parks were closed earlier in the week, but with the recent warm weather, residents have been socially distancing outside, with many biking around town.
Local bike shop Spoken Sports says they've seen an increase in business the past month compared to this same time in years past. Owner Chad Picard says due to two major reasons.
We're dealing with a little bit of people that have a little bit of cabin fever and want to get out and bike because it is spring and we have warmer temperatures. But there are those that have been working from home for 2, maybe 3 weeks now that they can't go to the gym. They can't work out with friends, so they're resorting to walks and running and certainly biking as well on the bike trail.
Picard says Spoken Sport limits their store to 5 customers in the shop at a time, but offers all services but rentals and fitting currently.
Well, the mild weather could be gone as winter makes a return to some parts of KELOLAND.
But will the snow stick? Let's find out by sending it over to meteorologist Brian Karstens.
Well, it is certainly sticking in the west this morning. That's one story we've been following. Sioux Falls probably gets some of this moisture here by later tonight, tomorrow, in the form of some snow and freezing rain. And more on that in a second. First, let's go to the headlines, and you can see the areas in red under the winter storm warning. Winter weather advisories for many, including Sioux Falls, Mitchell, Madison, and Yankton, and northwestern Iowa. Now, the current thinking is that this will continue to extend into the northeast, too, in the form of some icing. And I'm going to talk about that coming up. Snowfall totals here. Looking at some heavier numbers around Mobridge and also the Eureka area this morning, upwards of 3 to 5 inches. Also, the numbers are coming in heavier north of Rapid City. We've had some 8-inch amounts now around Rapid City. Continue to follow that. We'll have the rest of the forecast coming up.
Thanks a lot, Brian. All first responders, including police officers, are especially vulnerable to the coronavirus because of the close contact they have with the public. The Sioux Falls Police Department says it has plenty of protective gear on hand.
Each officer has a safety kit in their car that includes goggles, gloves, and an N95 mask. But officers don't always have time to put them on.
You can't fully prepare in every situation, especially in this environment, so you don't always know what you're going to get into.
Officers are told when those situations arise to sanitize their hands and contact surfaces. No Sioux Falls police officers are in quarantine at this time, but they are asked to self-monitor for symptoms. 911 is also health screening calls for signs of the virus before dispatching first responders. Meals on Wheels through Active Generations delivered 400 meals per day, and that was before COVID-19.
With more people housebound in need of food, that means more routes. That's why Schulte Subaru donated 3 brand new cars to Active Generations. The organization says the new cars will help drivers deliver at least 100 more meals per day. Carolyn Valetti says the donations mean a lot and says the drivers who bring food to her and her husband are heroes.
In the wintertime, snowing and everything, they're just really great and so helpful all the time.
Meals on Wheels through Active Generations delivers to people all over the Sioux Falls area and to outside communities. Because schools are closed all across KELOLAND, students continue to learn remotely from home, but some of them, unfortunately, don't have access to Wi-Fi.
But that's quickly changing thanks to Midco, a local internet provider. It's delivering kits supplied with modems, all the necessary cables, and self-install instructions to those families in need all across the Midwest, including Sioux Falls.
We just love serving the community and being part of it, and we felt it was a great way for us to help everyone in need.
Midco says it'll keep making the free deliveries as long as they're needed. The free internet service will end in June. Brian?
All right, well, ending is our 70-degree weather yesterday. That's long gone. Now today, 20s for temperatures at midday. Aberdeen in that category, Pierre mid-20s, Sioux Falls probably dropping through the 30s, and I don't expect a whole lot of recovery this afternoon. Now, in terms of moisture, we'll probably start to ramp up some of the radar trends around Sioux Falls to Mitchell to Huron here mid to late afternoon, and then this will continue to streak into Watertown through the evening. And again, the Northeast is a little more prone to some freezing rain here, so we're going to watch that carefully here. If we get any local icing problems, we'll be sure to let you know about that. Overnight, things are clearing in the west. It's going to be cold with that fresh blanket of snow. Fill up single digits. In fact, even Rapid probably drops to about 9 degrees overnight tonight. Tomorrow morning, Sioux Falls could have some icy roads with that light mixed bag on the way here, but the afternoon temps are quickly rising through the 30s, and with some April sun, I think this thing will go away pretty quickly. So it's kind of a short-term deal, but certainly today, be careful. Roads have already been slippery in the west. Even south-central South Dakota has had freezing drizzle this morning. Snow totals are certainly higher there in that belt from Mobridge to Faith to Rapid City. Well, let's take a look at the freezing rain there, too, and you see some of that around Watertown. Highs today, 20s, common. Looks like Sioux Falls, we're already way past our 40s for highs. We're slipping now. We'll slip into the 30s tomorrow, but hey, here's a rebound for you. Mid-50s by Sunday, mid-60s early next week. Aberdeen looking better, too, after the snow ending early tomorrow morning. I think 40 by Saturday. And a dry weekend is in store for Pierre as we moderate temperatures everywhere into the Black Hills and 62 in Rapid City by next Monday. Guys?
Thanks, Brian, and thanks for joining us for KELOLAND on the Go. Be sure to join us on air for midday in KELOLAND.
Until then, you can get up-to-the-minute developments right here on KELOLAND.com. Now go have a great day.